Professor Yadav, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm also good.
Very nice, very nice.
A very good afternoon to each one of you present here. On behalf of EC Department, I, Pooja Mishra, welcome you all again in the fourth day of 14 days online FDP program on A to Z of NBA accreditation process. In the last session, Dr. Satyendra Sharma discussed about criteria 2. He discussed about curriculum gaps for the attainment of defined POs and PSOs. He also mentioned points regarding quality of classroom teaching, identifying weak students, etc. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. C.S. Yadav for today's session based on criteria 3, that is course outcomes and program outcomes. Before starting the session, let me introduce you all with Dr. C.S. Yadav. Professor Chandrasekhar Yadav is Professor and Head Computer Science Department at Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, NIET Greater Noida. He received Master of Computer Application degree from the Institute of Engineering and Technology, IET Lucknow, and MTech Computer Science and Engineering from JSS Noida. He was awarded PhD in Computer Science and Engineering degree from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. He has handled various projects like query system on census data in 1991 for NICU PSU Lucknow, individual institute profile management system for NICU PSU Lucknow, library information system for MIET Meerut. He has received certification of appreciation for valuable contribution in the field of education and social service on the occasion of Shikshak Samman Samaro organized by RSM at Gautam Buddh Nagar. He has published various books. One of its best book is Modeling and Simulation Concept, which is published by University Science Press. He has patent in Australia, which is granted, and its title is Women's Safety Hidden Malicious Chip Using Deep Learning and IoT-based Tracking Technology. He has received grant of rupees 3 lakh for the project title Receiver Buffer Blocking in Multipath Communication through TEQIP AK2 for the session 2019-20. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for nice introduction. So, it's a faculty development program titled A to Z of NBA accreditation process from 24th August to 19th September. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ramendra Singh and his team for inviting me to talk about criteria 3 for accreditation. My sincere thanks to the director, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Inpas Engineering College, Ghaziabad, for giving me the opportunity to share my views and ideas on outcome-based education with faculty members from various institutes in India. I think this FDP started on August 24th, and today is the fourth day of FDP. And you have heard many speakers on the subject, and now you all are familiar with outcome-based education framework. I start my session with asking the question, can anyone tell me about the framework of outcome-based education? Now I think you all are familiar with outcome-based education. So can anyone tell me about the framework of outcome-based education? Let me share the screen. So my question is, what is the framework of outcome-based education? Can anyone? explain me about the, is PPT visible to you all?
Yes, sir. PPT is visible, sir.
So I think today is the 4th day of FDP.
Yes, sir.
So you should give the answer of this question.
Anyone from the participant side want to speak?
Good afternoon, Dr. Chandra sir. My name is
Yeah.
Tanvi Gautam and I am from IPEC department.
Okay.
Sir, outcome-based education can be defined as an educational process in which we basically try to achieve certain specific outcomes by the terms of individual students learning, and it is basically a criteria for assessment of a learning which
No,
is basically aligned with the
no, it's true, ma'am. It's true.
and
Whatever you are saying that is correct. But my question is, what is the framework of outcome-based education?
yes
What
sir.
are the various components in
Sir,
outcome-based education?
sir, we have basically three components for outcome based education. Sir, one is theory, second is systematic procedures which followed by the education, and third is the specific approach which can be proposed by the institutional practices.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me answer.
Okay, sir.
Actually, topics to be covered today is key constituents of outcome-based education. This is the framework of outcome-based education. Then I will explain course outcomes. After that, program outcomes. Then COPO mapping. Then course outcome attainment, direct and indirect course attainment. And after that, PO attainment, direct and indirect PO attainment. Okay, in this session, I will cover all these topics. And this is the feature of self-assessment report. Your FDP title is very good, A to Z of NBA accreditation process. All the faculty members should aware of these outcome-based educations and should know each and every criteria. And this is the feature of self-assessment report. Criteria 1 is vision, mission, and PO. Already covered, I think. Second is program, curriculum, and teaching learning process. And third one is program outcomes and course outcomes. So there are 7 criteria which is related to program level criteria, that is called related to department. Program means BTech, BTech CSC. If your department is electronics, then BTech electronics is the program. And 3 criteria is related to institute level. Criteria 8, first year academics. Criteria 9, student support system. And criteria 10 is government institutional support and financial resources. Okay. And these are the marks allotted to all the criteria for tier 1 and tier 2. Okay. And you already know, I think, what is the tier 1 colleges and what is the tier 2 colleges. Only 5% colleges are in tier 1. Okay. All the IITs, ISC, Bangalore and autonomous colleges comes into the tier 1. And tier 2 means the colleges which is affiliated to university. So that comes into the tier 2. So here marks are allotted for each criteria. And see here, criteria 3, program outcomes and course outcomes. For tier 1, 175 marks. And in tier 2, 120 marks. Okay. So why we are giving more weightage to criteria 3? Because this is the main criteria for tier 1. Okay. And if you have good faculty members and the faculty members which are familiar with the framework of outcome-based educations, then only you can achieve these marks, 175 or more than 90% marks in this criteria. Okay. So in today's session, I will cover criteria number 3. But criteria number 3 is dependent on the above two criteria, criteria 1 and criteria 2. Vision, mission, PO, and then program curriculum and teaching learning process. After that, program outcomes and course outcomes. So see this diagram. This diagram is very, so let me see. This is the framework of outcome-based education. Here see, in designing, first we design the institute vision, and then we write the mission statement through which we can achieve the vision of the institute. Keeping in mind of the vision and mission of the institute, we will design the vision of the department and then various mission statements through which we achieve the vision of the department. In designing, we follow the top-down approach. Then we will write the statements for program educational objectives, that is called PEOs. After that, we will write the, we will not write, but this is the fixed and given by the NBA program outcomes. There are 12 program outcomes, and we designed that program outcomes from the graduate attributes, various graduate attributes, which is defined by the Washington-Accord. And after that, we will write the course outcomes for each course. Course means subject. Here, program means BTech CSC is program, and course means subject. Suppose you are teaching operating system, then operating system is a course. So in designing, we go from top to bottom. First, we design the vision, mission, then PEOs, then program outcomes. After that, course outcomes. But in implementation, we will go from bottom to top. Here, main thing is course outcomes. So whether the students attain these course outcomes or not, then from this we will calculate the attainment of the POs, and after that we will see whether the POs are attained or not, and then whether our vision is meet or not. If you meet your vision, then you will redefine the vision. So vision is a long-term statement and mission is a short-term statement, or you can say that mission is a ladder through which we achieve our vision. So these are the framework of outcome-based education, and each and every faculty member should familiar with each and every terminologies which is written in this diagram. Okay. Now, quick recap of this is the vision, long-term statement. And vision means through ladder we reach to our vision. Mission, through mission is a ladder, and through ladder we achieve our vision. And through this diagram, I think now it is clear between vision and mission. Now see the vision of the Amazon. See this statement. What is the vision of Amazon? To be Earth's most customer-centric company, where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online. Global reach, customer prioritization, anything they might want to buy online. This is the vision of this company. And see the mission statement of this company, and this will help you all to design your departmental vision and define your mission of the department. And mission is we strive to offer our customer the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and utmost convenience. This is the mission of the Amazon company. So one is talking about the future. In vision, we will talk about the future, and in mission, we are talking about present. So vision talks about future while mission talks about the present. Mission statement is cause the, and vision statement is an effect. Vision is long term and mission is short term. So these are the difference between vision and mission, and I hope you all are familiar with these terminologies. Now, quick recap of PEOs, POs, and graduate attributes. Program educational objectives. After 3 to 5 years of graduation, students will achieve these objectives. Okay. And for assessment, we will use employer survey, alumni survey, through which we assess where our students achieve these POs or not. Program outcomes. After the completion of the graduation, a student will be able to attain these POs. Okay. And graduate attributes is the required skills of graduate defined by the Washington Accord. So actually program outcomes means skill, knowledge, skill and attitude. These are the outcomes. So our students will instill with these knowledges, these skills, and which is defined by the Washington Accord. And how our student will attain that skills, knowledge, attitudes with the help of COs. So in BTech CSC, suppose there are 40 subjects, there are 40 courses. So with the help of all the courses, we will attain 12 POs. If that 12 POs are not sufficient, then you can define your PSO, program specific outcomes. Minimum 2 to 4, you can define your program specific outcomes. So POs are common for all the engineering branches, but PSO is specific to that branch. Did you get it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now these are the 12 program outcomes.
Yes, sir.
PO1 is engineering knowledge, PO2 problem analysis, PO3 design development of solutions, conduct investigation of complex problems, then modern tool usage, PO6 engineer and society, PO7 environment and sustainability. Everybody is talking about the sustainable development goals. Okay. And this is the defined by the UN. Then PO8 ethics, PO9 individual and teamwork, PO10 communication. Here communication means how engineer communicate their ideas and views through written and verbal skills. Then project management and finance. 2 or 3 subjects related to management and finance. Generally, BTech students study these subjects. And then PO12 is lifelong learning. If any new technology comes in the market, then student is able to learn that skills. So that is called whether our students has learning ability or not. And through this lifelong learning, every BTech students are able to acquire new skills. Why? Because within the blink of eyes, technologies are changing. So this skill is very important, lifelong learning skills. So here there are 12 POs. Now, suppose we have a course operating system. So maybe operating system only mapped with 2 or 3 POs. Another course is mapped with 2 or 3 POs. In this way, project mapped with PO8, PO9, PO10, seminar mapped with. So through 40 courses, actually we cover all the POs. Okay. So curriculum design is very important. You have to keep such type of the subjects so that we can attain all the 12 POs. And these are common for all the branches, BTech Electronics, BTech CSC. But if you need any specific outcomes, then you have to retain that separately. And if you think okay, this is the sufficient for our program, then there is no need to write PSO. But minimum 2 and 2 to 4 PSO you can define. Okay. Actually, in this PO12, PO1 to 5 are domain specific, but PO6 to PO12 acts as PSO, but that is not mentioned. PO1 to PO5 is domain specific, and rest of the POs are already program specific. But if you think that the PO6 to PO12 are not sufficient for attaining the course outcomes, whatever you want in POs that are not attained by these 12 POs, then you can separately write the program specific outcomes. Now, there are two terminology, course objective and course outcome. So course objective and course outcome. Course objective is teacher. In teacher perspective, we write the course objective ki student will learn these and these things, and course outcomes are from student's perspective. This is only the difference between course objective and course outcomes. Here objectives may outline the material the instructor intends to cover in a course are teacher-centered contents, and course objective describes what a faculty member will cover in a course. But course outcomes, it can be broken into three things. One, action word that identifies the performance to be demonstrated. Statements that specifies what learning will be demonstrated in the performance. And third one is broad statement of the criteria or standard for acceptable performance. So course outcome should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and in time-bound manner, a student will be able to achieve or a student will be able to attain that course outcomes. Did you get it? What I am saying? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, one thinks Bloom's taxonomy is very important. If you map CO with PO or CO with PSO, then you should all aware about Bloom's taxonomy. And I think already covered in criteria 2, but please tell me, hello, what are the various domains of Bloom's taxonomy? Can anyone tell me about the various domains of Bloom's taxonomy? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
So my
Sir,
question
that
is,
is understanding, remembering.
please listen my question. I am asking about the domains of Bloom's taxonomy.
There are three domains of Bloom's taxonomy.
Very good, very good. Please tell me the name of all the domains.
One is the cognitive,
Very
that is the
good.
thinking level.
Yeah.
Second one is the psychomotor, that is the
Okay.
action or practical
Right,
domain.
right.
And the third one is the affective domain.
Affective, that is
feeling.
your emotions or feeling.
Very good.
Dr. Yadav,
But
Yeah,
in my view, sorry sir,
हाँ
there
सर
there
बताइए.
must be a fourth domain will be there in any education policy, that will the spiritual domain.
हाँ, spiritual things is for universal human values. You have to go, spiritually, you have to think all these things, that is spiritual domain. But Benjamin Bloom's proposed three domains are.
As per the Bloom, there are only
Learning.
three domains.
I am asking as per the Bloom's, how many domains in Bloom's
yeah,
taxonomy?
there are three domains.
There are three domains. Actually, very simple to remember that things. Head, hand, heart. Cognitive is related to your head. And psychomotor skill is related to your hand. And affective domain is related to your heart. If any students are very much aggressive, in that case, your cognitive domain will not work. You have to apply your affective domain to handle that students. and somewhere you need your psychomotor skills. Actually, all the faculty members only focus on that cognitive domain. And there are 6 hierarchy. You are saying remembering, understanding, applying, then application and evaluation, creativity. And these are the 6 level of the cognitive domain. But in teaching learning process, you have to focus on affective domain as well as on psychomotor domain also. So generally we not cover that these 2 domains, affective and psychomotor. So my objective is to tell you that you should focus all the 3 domains if you map CO with PO. Okay, did you get it? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
A quick recap of these things. In 1956, Bloom's proposed this cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. Now, this is the revised Bloom's-Vincenti taxonomy table. So see here in column, factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge, procedural knowledge, metacognitive knowledge. These are the categories of the knowledge, and rest of the 4 are engineering knowledge, fundamental design principle, criteria and specification, practical constraints, design, instrumentalities. These are the knowledge categories. And here, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So suppose you are providing the conceptual knowledge to your student through CO3. So you will mention CO3 in this cell. AI is the assessment items and IA is the instructional activities. These are 3 things. Factual means the knowledge which is related to only fact. So generally remember level is related to factual knowledge. So in PO1 starts with level 3. You should not write CO by using remembering or understanding level. You have to write CO in which you give the knowledge of level 3, apply level. Why? Because first PO is engineering knowledge, and engineering knowledge by applying the physics, mathematics, and basic engineering knowledge. Okay, you have to write that CO. So you have to start from cognitive level 3. Okay, you have to not write the CO which cover only the remembering and understanding level. Though in the question paper, 70% questions have been asked from the level 1 and 2. But in competitive examination, in JEE mains or NEET, generally question has been asked from the higher level. So remembering and understanding low level and then higher level. In higher level only you can ask question from the apply and analysis level. Again, creativity level, you can't fix creativity in a time bound manner. And definition of the CO course outcome is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound manner. You have to attain that course outcome in time bound. Suppose you will ask any question related to creativity level and students are not able to solve that question in 3 hours. So you should not ask question related to creativity. Yeah, if you give that question, then suppose student, if a student is going in the right direction, then you have to give some marks to that students. So generally we ask the question related to apply and application. So most of the question we should ask from that label. Did you get it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So assessment items means assignment, then question paper, midterm question paper, end semester examination. These are called assessment items. And instructional activities, whatever material you are providing to the students, that are called instructional activities. So all are in the same level. Suppose you define the course outcome, which is in this cell, but your instruction material is of remembering level, and your assessment, your question has been asked from remembering level, then your purpose will be defeated. Did you get? All should lie on same level. So this table is very important, and you have to analyze the things on which cell our CO course outcome belongs, and according to that we design our instructional materials, and then we set our question papers according to that course outcomes. So in autonomous institution, generally first we write the course outcomes, and on the basis of that course outcomes we design the syllabus. But if you are affiliated to AKTU, then you have no choice. You have to follow the syllabus of the AKTU. Okay. So that's why in tier 1, 175 marks are allotted to criteria 3. And in tier 2, only 100 or 150 marks. Let me check that. See here.
120.
Why 120? 120 is allotted to tier 2 institution, and 175 marks allotted to tier 1 institution. Why? Because you are free to design your course outcomes. You are free to design your course curriculum. You are free to establish your instruction material. That's why we are giving more importance of this criteria in tier 1 institutions. Our slide is stuck, not moving. What happened? Hello, please help
Yes,
me.
sir. Yes, sir.
Slide is stuck, not moving.
Sir, you just stop, then again share your slide. Because maybe it's hang.
So first we stop sharing and then
Yes,
again
sir.
share that
Yes,
slide.
sir. Yes, sir.
There is no alternate way.
Maybe, sir, there is some hang problem with the slide.
Actually, I am used to Microsoft Team. First
It
time I am
rarely
using.
happens. This thing rarely happens that slide will not move.
Okay, now it is working.
Yes, yes, sir.
Is PPT visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see this COPO mapping. Okay. So there are various methods for COPO mapping. There is no fixed rule for COPO mapping. So this is the one rule. Okay. Here first we design the course outcome. Suppose we write CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5. Then we map CO1 with PO1. This CO1 is mapped with PO1. Okay, engineering knowledge. And then PO2 is again analysis, problem analysis. And then suppose we write any PSO1 and this CO1 is mapped with CO1. Again, CO1 we will check on which cognitive level this CO1 lies. So suppose this CO1 lies at understanding level. So here we will write understanding U. Now we will check whether our knowledge is related to factual knowledge or conceptual knowledge. If you are providing both type of the knowledge, factual related to facts and conceptual knowledge, then you will mention here factual and conceptual. And suppose for attaining this CO1, we need 2 hours class sessions. So here we will write 2 hours. And suppose no lab, there is no requirement of the lab, then here we will write 0. But this is only tier 1 institution you can do this thing. Then we will write CO2, and again we will check whether our CO2 is mapped with PO1, PO2, and which type of the knowledge, cognitive level, understanding. Then this is the conceptual. And suppose for attaining this CO2, we need 4 hours class sessions and 4 hour lab sessions. In this way, we mapped all the COs. Okay. And here we mentioned 14 hours and 4 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, and then 8 hours, 8 hours. This is the rough data. And generally in 40 hours, we cover our theory. So here 40 hours for theory and 24 hours for lab. Okay. So you have to map your CO1 with the cognitive level, with POs and PSOs, then knowledge categories, and how many sessions are required for attaining that CO1. So in this way, we fill data in this table. After filling data in this table, see here. Here we will make another table in which there are various POs and PSOs which are mapped with the various COs. So suppose PO1 is mapped with 3 course outcomes, CO1, CO2, CO3. See this diagram. PO1 is mapped with CO1 and PO1 is mapped with CO2 and PO1 is also mapped with CO3. But CO4 is not mapped with PO1 and CO5 is also not mapped with PO1. So here CO1, CO2, CO3. So we will write here CO1, CO2, CO3. Now 2 hours, 8 hours and 18 hours. Total 28 hours. Requirement of 28 hours out of 40 hours for PO1. And in this way, we calculate the total hours for attaining the PO2. So 10 hours for PO2, 26 hours for PO3, 20 hours for PO4, then 20 hours for PO5, and for PSO 22 hours and 32 hours. After that, if you have to maintain a rubrics, if we need 43 hours, or here we design a rubrics, if your PO2 program outcome needs the 10 to 30% of the sessions, then level is 1 slightly. If need 31% to 50, then 2, and more than 51%, then we give the 3. So in this way, we can calculate the mapping strength. Okay. So here PO1 is 43%. How? For attaining the PO1, we need the 28 hours out of 64. How 64? Because 40 hours for theory session and 24 hours for lab sessions. So total 64. So out of 64, 28 hours are required for PO1. So 43. In this way, we can calculate the percentage. So on this basis of the percentage, we can give the level. So 3 mapping strength. As you all know that this is the substantial, moderately, and slightly. So this is one of the ways for COPO mapping. But there is another subjective mapping also. Did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I think this method is clear, but this method is generally appropriate for tier 1 institution, where you are free to design your course outcomes, sessions, and all these things. Okay. And second one is COPO mapping, subjective mapping. Here we write all the COs and then POs and PSOs. So suppose here we give 1. So how you are going to put 1, 2? If slightly mapped, then we will put 1. Moderately mapped, then we will put 2. If substantially mapped, then we will put 3. And if there is a hyphen, means this is not mapped with this POs. But here also you have to look both COs and POs, and then we will give the numbers in this table. So in subjective basis, what we see, we keep both the statement, course outcome statement and PO statements. And here we find out the keywords. And here we find out the keywords. Suppose 80% of this CO keywords are mapped with POs, then we will give 3. If 50 to 70% keywords mapped with this POs, then we will give 2. And if below 40% map, then we will give 1. And if no keywords are mapped with any POs, then here we will give hyphen. Did you get it? This is the subjective. Hello? What I am
Yes, sir.
saying? Yes, sir. Let me explain this with this CO2. In last I have, suppose this is the PO1. Okay. See, suppose this is here, this is PO1. PO1 is engineering knowledge. Here in this statement, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering, fundamentals, and engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. Okay. So suppose we find out the 5 keywords: knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering, and we bold that keywords. And in CO1, to analyze different database models and design new relational schema and ER diagram. So relational schema is related to maths, ER diagram, then normalized relations. So in this way, directly or indirectly, suppose we find out the 4 keywords are matched with 5. So 4 out of 5, 80% keywords matched with PO1, and through this rubric, if greater than 70% keywords are matched, then 3. If 60 to 70% keywords are matched, then we will give 2. If 50 to 59 match, then 1, and less than 50. And this is also subjective. You can design your own rubrics. No fixed rule. Did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So through one research paper, I have retrieved this information. Actually, in my question, ki how we are giving 1, 2, 3 in this cell, so there should be some method through which we can allot the that number, that mapping strength. So one is totally based on the number of the hours, and second is based on the keywords. And there are other methods also for mapping, COPO mapping. Okay. So I think now it is clear to you all how you will map the things. If you have any doubt related to COPO mapping, then you can ask the question. So we give
Can you please explain the subject wise once again, sir?
Actually, 12 PO statements are given. Okay. If you design the CO1, then you should use the reverse engineering. You have to design your course outcome by using those keywords. So if you will use that keywords, then obviously you can say that suppose there are 5 keywords in the PO1, then our 80% keywords are mapped with PO1. Again, see this statement. Actually, my CO is not appropriate, but indirectly I assume that ki 4 keywords matched with the PO1. But you have to design that things. See here. First, you have to define the rubrics. So if 70% keywords of CO mapped with PO, then we will allot 3. If 60 to 70% keywords matched with the keywords of the PO, then we will give 2. If below 50 to 59 keywords match, then we will give 1. And if less than 50% keywords match, then no relation. And this is also, you can change that. If less than 30%, you can say that not mapped. And if 40% keywords mapped, then you can give 1. So you can change these rubrics. Did you get it? This is not
Yes,
the
sir. Yes, sir.
this
Yes,
is not the this
Yes,
is
sir,
not
it's
the
clear.
fixed जो है rubrics. Okay. Now see PO3. PO3 is design development of the solution. So design solution is a 1 keyword. Complex engineering problem is 2nd keyword. Design system components 3rd keyword. Specified needs 4th. Public health and safety 5th, 6th and 7th. So we identify 7 main keywords from these PO3. Okay. Now we will read the CO1 statement. To analyze, the problem analysis is in PO2. So this keyword is mapped with PO2, but not mapped with PO3. But here, different database model and design. So this keyword is mapped with this keyword, design. Okay. Here,
Yes, sir.
designing
Yes,
skill.
sir.
You are developing the designing skill. Okay. So one is mapped. Again, ER diagram. Now diagram is not directly mapped with anything, but if you analyze the ER diagram, then that ER diagram you can use for any health system. You can develop any information system for the society. So you can say that indirectly mapped with these keywords. So ER diagram mapped, normalized relations table is also mapped with this project. Manage information multinational बैंक, तो बैंक किसके लिए है? बैंक इज फॉर द सोसाइटी. तो हम इनडायरेक्टली कह दिए कि 7 में से 5 इज मैप्ड. तो जो डिजाइनिंग कर रहे हैं दैट इज फॉर द पब्लिक हेल्थ एंड सेफ्टी, एंड वी डेवलप द इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम फॉर द सोसाइटी नीड्स. तो 5/7 means 71%. So more than 70% we will give 3. Did you get it?
Okay, sir. Sir, got it. Thank you so much, sir.
लेकिन if you use reverse engineering कि by reading these things, if you write the CO1, then most of the keywords will be matched and you can give the 3, 2, but never write in every cell 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Why? Because one course is not suitable for mapping with all the POs. Okay. Suppose your course outcome is related to design, then PO1 is engineering knowledge, PO2 is problem analysis, and PO3 is design. If your CO is related to investigation of the complex engineering problem, then your CO will be mapped with PO4. So you have to remember all these POs and cognitive level also. If your CO is based on remembering and understanding, then your CO is not mapped with even PO1. Why? In PO1 is also talking of complex engineering problem. Did you get it? What I am saying? Hello? Yes, in some colleges,
Yes, sir.
in some colleges, people write 3, 3, 3, 3, a random number they generate without thinking anything. This is the wrong thing. Suppose course A mapped only 3 POs, then okay. Course 2 mapped with another 3. So generally conceptual subjects mapped PO1, PO2, PO3 and PO4 and PO5. Modern tools. You are using the Oracle software or any tool if you are using to write the query, then generally mapped with these things. But in project, individual and teamwork you monitor. A student generally submit the project report. So through project report, you measure the performance of writing skills, how student communicate their ideas and views. And then suppose project is developed for the environment, then that is mapped with the environment and sustainability. So project, seminar, these courses are designed for mapping the PO9, PO10, PO11, PO12 and PO30. Generally, teachers mapped CO of core subject to all the POs. If you will map COs to all the POs, then to maintain the record is very difficult. You have to measure each and everything now. Did you get it?
Yes,
What
sir.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So that means, sir, it is not mandatory to map each and every PO with all the COs.
That's why the students are, we provide 40 subjects, projects,
Yes, sir.
seminar, mini projects. Why we are providing 40 subjects in BTech electronics? If one subject, through one subject, if you attain all the PO, 12 and PSOs, then there is no need to teach all the subjects. Some management subject,
Yes, sir.
which is strongly mapped with the PO10, finance and that is, I think, PO11, project management and finance. So जो subject related to management है, that is mapped with the PO11.
Okay,
PO10
sir.
is
Thank you so
communication.
much, sir.
If any course student is submitting the project report, then here you give the marks on report writing. Suppose in rubrics you are giving some marks in project writing, then only you can say that our course outcome is mapped with the communication PO10. If you are looking the individual performance and the team performance in your assessment, then only you can map that CO with that POs. Did you get it? What I'm saying?
Excuse me, sir.
Huh.
Good afternoon, sir. Firstly, I would like to thank you for providing a fruitful information on criterion 3 of NBA.
Okay.
At the same time, sir, I have a little doubt. As you have shown in a slide that after average of all the POs, you have taken the mapping strength. So,
Right.
sir, it is compulsory to have the mapping strength in a whole number, so we can put it as an fractional number also, sir.
Actually, we will use these weighted number. This number we will use in the computation. But here you can round these things, na? This is the you can say that is strongly mapped with this PO. This is the moderately mapped with this.
Sir,
Okay, slightly mapped with this. So here only we are round the things, na? There's a 1.6 to 2.22. But in computation, we will use only these. This is the actual strength. Okay.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
In computation, we will not use this thing. Otherwise, attainment will be high. And if your attainment is low, suppose your target attainment is here, your target is 2.7 and you attain only 2.6. So you have to take action to close that quality loop. And suppose your target is 2.3 and we attain 2.3, then you have to increase the target. Okay. Ultimately, in each and every step, you have to close the quality loop. Why we are doing this CO attainment, PO attainment? Through CO attainment, suppose CO2 is not attained. Most of the students are not able to solve the question related to CO2. Then we will take action how we have to explain that things so that 70% or more than 70% students attain that CO course outcome. We are doing these computations to measure the performance of each and every students. Now, only you are not cooking the data for NP and accreditation. Did you get it?
Yes, sir. Surely.
And teacher is the king of the class. Teacher can define their rubrics. Teacher can map that CO to PO1. And after that, you have to tell the students that you are not attending this CO1, you are not attending this CO2. You have to arrange extra classes, expert lecture, seminar, so that student attain that CO. I mean, if student will attend that CO, so CO1 is mapped with PO, so ultimately PO1 is also attained. Did you get it? Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Very much clear. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
So this is only about the CO-PO mapping. Generally, faculty member randomly put the number in each and every cell. That is not ethical. You have to some criteria, rubrics, procedure through which you have to map CO1 with PO1. Whether our CO1 is strongly mapped or not mapped or moderately mapped or slightly mapped. For strongly mapped 3, for moderately mapped 2 and slightly mapped 1, and if not mapped then hyphen. So here we are not considering hyphen. Suppose 1, 3, then average of these two is 2. We are not considering this. This is not 0. Okay. Here if 3, 3, then only 3. We will not consider this hyphen. Why? Because one course is not sufficient to map with all the POs and PSOs.
Correct.
Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Should I move forward? Yeah.
Sir,
can you
I
hear me?
ask something?
Yeah.
Hello.
You can ask
Sir, the
question.
PO2.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. The PO2, it has average as 1. It should be 2, isn't it?
Right. This is the mistake.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Actually, this is the random number, actually. But-
Yes, sir. No, sir. I just got
Uh,
little confused, so
No,
asked.
no. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good
It will
afternoon,
be
sir.
true. Yeah.
Sir, myself, Dr. Monica, I would like to really appreciate the way you have explained, especially these two methods. One is the subjective basis and another one also. So we are from the tier 2 college. So I just want to know, like in the 3.1 during this
Okay.
evaluator guideline, it is mentioned in 3.1.1 that evidence of CO being defined for every course. So because we are the tier 2 college, so whether the evaluator is going to ask any evidences, because we are just getting the COs from the university only.
You can modify your CO in tier 2 college. Actually, if you observe that key CO defined by the AQ2 is not appropriate, our student is not attaining, our performance of our student is not good, then you can redefine your CO. Okay. But actually in university, in end semester examination, you have no control.
Yeah.
Only you get the total marks. Question wise marks is not known to you. But in autonomous college, in end semester, whole data is with us, so we can thoroughly check that whether in which question student is not able to attain. Then for that CO, we need extra attention. Okay. We will organize the seminar, expert lecture for attaining that COs. But in tier 2 colleges, you are only focus on your internal examinations, na?
Okay. Yeah, very true.
That's why NBA is giving 120 marks only for this criteria.
Yeah.
Because
So,
major chunk is hidden.
yeah.
Okay, you know only the total marks.
Yeah. And so one last thing is, I mean, as you have very rightly mentioned that we need to check the keywords matching and faculty need not to put the random values. So I just want to ask whether from the evaluation point of view, should we write for a particular subject like the PO, whatever is being mapped with the specific CO, statement of that particular PO and statement of that CO. So whether we should maintain these kind of things or it is okay that we have done the department.
Actually,
BJ.
ma'am, now I am going you third method.
Okay.
In some colleges, through cognitive level mapped the things.
Okay.
If your outcome is on apply level, then generally PO1 mapped with PO1. If application level, then PO2. Okay. If evaluation, then PO3.
Yeah.
In this way, through cognitive level, in some colleges, teachers map CO to PO. So it's totally depends on the teacher how they map. But you have to justify why you have given 3 number, why you have given 2 number, why you have given 1 number, and why you are not giving any number.
Okay.
You have to justify your CO PO mapping.
Fine. Perfectly fine. Thank you.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I got it.
You can design any new method and you can
Okay.
write paper for that CO PO mapping.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's why I am saying that ki teacher is the king of
Yeah.
his or her course. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
If you have justification, then nobody will ask question ki why you are giving 2, why you are giving 3, because you are confident and you will tell ki that's why I am giving 3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, namaskar. This is Satyamurthy, sir.
Okay.
Hello. Sir, generally, how many COs are good for your course, sir? Is there any limit?
General 6 actually.
So maximum 6 could be preferable.
Minimum 6.
Minimum,
I have read somewhere in NBA documentation कि minimum 6 COs, but it totally depends on the faculty members. Suppose you write only 3 COs and very heavy COs. Main criteria is कि one CO will not map with all the cognitive level. Some people, one CO we map with all the cognitive level. There are 6 level, then you can write generally 6 course outcome. Okay. And course outcome starts from level 3, not 1 and 2, remembering and understand. So we generally discourage the persons, student will be able to remember, student will be able to understand. Don't use these action words in your course outcome. If you will use apply, design, construct, create, then already your CO will be mapped with higher level POs and PO1 also. PO1 starts from level 3. Did you get it? But in AKTU, most of the syllabus, student will be able to understand, student will be able to remember, student will be able to explain. Never write able to design, able to apply. Okay. If all the COs are student will be able to understand. So how will you measure the understanding? Please let me know.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I have a small question. Like when we are designing the COs, 6 COs we have designed, and some of them are Bloom's 3rd level and 4th level.
Right.
When the paper setter sets the paper, indirectly, are we saying that this is the maximum outcome that is expected?
Very good question. You are saying that generally question has been asked from 3 and 4 level, cognitive level.
Yes,
but creative level and synthesis level, you can give that question in assignment. Yes, and there is some marks of assignment. So through assignment, you can attain that CO.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yes, sir. But I have a small more clarification on this. Like, see, when somebody sets a paper, we will be sending the syllabus and COs now, sir.
Okay.
For them, are we indirectly saying that this is the maximum outcome that it is expected from the students? Indirectly, are we restricting them to give?
Actually, we are not designing the program outcome. Washington Accord, NBA wants these program outcome attainment, and to achieve that program outcome attainment, we design the course outcome. Now, low level, we have course outcome, and with the help of the course outcome, we attain all the POs. So our engineers should acquire engineering knowledge. Engineers should acquire the problem analysis skill. Engineers should acquire the designing skill. Engineers should be able to use the modern tools. Okay. Engineers should be have some ethics. Engineers should design such a project which is not harm our environment. Okay. So these are the 12 common skills each engineer should acquire that things after completing their BTech degree.
Sir, can I have a question, sir?
Sir, can I just elaborate on this one, sir? Like, assume that CO3 is split into unit 3, sir.
Okay.
And in unit 3, the maximum level, like we have set, is Bloom's 3. Can the question paper setter can set a higher level question for this unit, sir? But
okay, let me clear that CO3 is not dependent on unit. Course outcome is independent of unit.
Yes, but I just assume
we can't fix that. We have to write CO1 from unit 1. You can design your course outcome from combination of all the units.
Yes.
So generally, autonomous colleges first write the course outcomes, and then with the help of to attain that course outcome, design the syllabus. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Basic building blocks is course outcome. And course outcome should be measurable, specific, attainable. You should not write such type of the course outcome which is not attainable, which is not measurable. Suppose you are right that the student is able to understand, then how you will measure the understanding? If you write the students are able to demonstrate, so you will say that please demonstrate these things. If student demonstrate properly, then you will give full marks, 90% marks. If not able to demonstrate, then you will give low marks. So we should write such type of the course outcome that is specific, maintainable, attainable, and in time bound manner. You should not write such type of the course outcome which is not student are not able to achieve that course outcomes in a given time. In a 4-year, student is not able to attend that things. Yeah, in 1 semester, student is not able to achieve that course outcomes.
Understood, sir. Thank you very much.
These are the characteristics of the course outcomes. Specific. Suppose some teacher write the course outcome, a student will be able to draw UML diagrams. UML diagrams general. You have to write that students will be able to draw the object diagram, class diagram, okay, and then use case diagram, sequence diagram. You have specific, not generalize the things. The student will be able to solve the complex real life problem. You have to mention the specific problem. The student will be able to solve that problem, health related problem. Okay, yeah, problem of health sector, yeah, problem of education sector, and which type of the problem student will be able to solve. You have to mention each and everything in your course outcome.
Yes, sir. I understood, sir. Thank you very much.
Your doubt is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, it was clear.
Don't relate unit with course outcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So that's all about the COPO mapping. Okay. Now see this slide. As you all know that computation of the CO attainment through assessment pattern. And assessment pattern, there are 2 types, direct attainment and indirect attainment. In direct attainment, internal examination and external semester examination and assignment. I suppose you are taking quiz and giving the marks to quiz. Okay, you can add quiz also. If you give any tutorial assignment, so you can mention here. These are the assessment, direct assessment tools. And indirect assessment tools, after the end of the semester, you have to take feedback from the student whether you are able to perform this course outcome or not, whether you attain this course outcome or not. You through feedback, we obtain these things. So this is through survey. We do the indirect assessment, and in direct assessment, we will use the direct assessment tool, internal examination, external semester examination, and assignment. Now in direct CO assessment, we are giving 20% weightage of the internal examination and 80% of the end semester examination. This is for the tier 2 colleges. 20%, you can give 25% also. And here 75% of end semester. But in tier 1 colleges, you can give the 50% of internal and 50% of external. 45% weightage of internal examination and 65% of 55% of external. So here in tier 2, 20/80, 25/75. So this is the formula for direct CO attainment. Now, through survey form, suppose we indirectly obtain the CO attainment, so only 10% we will give for indirect CO attainment and 90% weightage for direct CO attainment. And these rubrics you can change, this formula you can change. But in tier 2, you can't give weightage 50% and 50%. Why? Because in internal examination, minimum is 85%. Minimum is, in some colleges, minimum is 80%. So you should not give more weightage to internal examination. Okay. More weightage to internal examination. Why? Because in external, students secure 55% marks, 65% marks. Then you can know the real picture performance of these students. Did you get it? What I'm saying? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in direct assessment, CO indirect attainment in any subject, suppose in DBMS, then we have to design a survey form and take feedback from the students. So suppose there are 10 students and 2 students fill the level 1 attainment, 2 students fill level 2 attainment, and rest of the 6 fill the 3 level attainment of the course outcomes. So this one, through this formula, 1 into 2 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6 divided by total number of the students. ये आ गया overall CO indirect attainment, and we will give only 10% of this CO attainment. Did you get it? Hello? Suppose there are 10 students in your class. 2 students give in feedback कि we attain 1 level course outcome, and 2 students said कि we attain 2 level course outcome, and 6 said कि we attain 3 level course outcome. So through this, 1 into 2 plus 2 into 2, 3 into 6 divided by 10. कितना हो गया? 2.4. And suppose 3 students give 1 and 3 students give 2 and only 4 students give 3, then obviously less CO attainment, but we will give only 10% weightage of this attainment. So overall course outcome attainment is 90% of direct course attainment and 10% of indirect course attainment. Did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, through CO-PO mapping, we find out the PO attainment. Weighted average value of PO into the CO attainment, overall CO attainment divided by 3. And similarly, we can compute the PSO attainment, weighted average value of PSO into CO attainment average divided by 3. So with the help of the CO attainment, we can compute the PO attainment and we can compute the PSO attainment. Now, in AK2, generally through marks 66.67% weightage to theory examination, and external examination in theory, and 33 to internal on the basis of the marks, and in practical 60% in ST examination and 40%. So through this we can make the rubric, or we can give the 33 to internal marks weightage and 66 to, so this is up to you. You can design any type of the rubrics, but 50-50 you can give only in tier 1 institution. Now here attainment level, you can design the rubrics. Suppose 60% students have secured greater than 60% marks, or 80% students secured the greater than 60% marks, then we will give 3. If 60 to 80% students secure the greater than 60% marks, then we will give 2. And if 60% students secured less, 60% students secured greater than 60% marks, then we will give 1. In this way, we can define the rubrics. Internal marks on the basis of average marks. Hello.
Yeah, sir, in the university examination for the attainment level 1, you have mentioned that less than of 60% of marks.
See here, I am saying that 60% students secure greater than 60% marks. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Then less than 60%, sorry, 60 to 80% students, if securing greater than 60% marks, then you will put the 2. And if 59% students only securing the greater than 60% marks, means 59% student secure the first division, तब आप क्या करो, परफॉर्मेंस पुअर है. अगर आपके 60 to 80% students are securing more than 60% marks, तो इसका मतलब परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स बेटर है. एंड इफ योर 80% स्टूडेंट्स आर securing more than 60% marks, then you will give 3. Did you get it?
Okay, sir.
Hello. Only you have the university result, na? So through university result, how will you give the marks? If 80% students secure first division, means performance of the students is good in the AKTU examination. And if 50% students only secure first position, why? Because 60% represent the first division. Below 60, second division, 40, third division. So in this way, 3 for first division, agar 80% student more than are at 3, 60 to 80% students secure first division, then 2, and below 60% students secure the 60 greater than 60% marks, then 1. Did you get it? Means 59% student,
okay,
agar securing greater than 60% marks, then 1. And this is also up to you. You can develop any type of the rubrics. Did you get it?
So
See,
one question I have.
Yeah.
As you are telling that we have to calculate the attainment, into the university examination separately and into the internal examination separately. So,
for your question, let me share an Excel sheet. Then you will clear all these things. Let me share the Excel sheet. Is the Excel sheet visible to you all?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Now see, in this class, there are 65 students. Okay. This is the roll list of the 65 students. Now on the basis of the question paper is of 30 marks and our question paper is mapped with CO. So in question paper, we asked 5 marks from CO1, 5 marks from CO2, 3 marks for attaining the CO3, 7 marks for CO4, and 5 marks for CO5, and 5 marks for CO6. So total marks 5, 5, 10, 13, 20, and 10, 30. The total marks of class test 1 is 30. And here each and every student secure. There's a Harshit Garg secured 3 marks out of 5, 4 marks out of 5. In this way, there is the mark list of CO wise in this sheet. Okay. Now threshold is 60%. Our threshold is 60%. So see here, number of the students, 62%, 62 students out of 65, 62 students secured 3 marks out of 5 in CO1. Here see, greater than or equal to 3. Why I am asking about 3?
Okay, sir.
Because 60% of 5 is 3. So 60 students secured 3 marks out of 65. So how many percentage of the students secure 60 or 60 greater than 60% marks? Please let me know. 62 out of 65.
Around 95%.
95. So 80% students got more than target. Target is 60%. Here you can increase the target. Suppose this target is achieved, then you can set the threshold 70%. Did you get it? So here more than 80% students secure 60% marks, 60 or greater than 60% marks. So for this attainment level is 3. But see, in CO2, only 60 students out of 64 attain 3 or greater than 3. Then we have here also attainment level is 3. But in this case 1.8, here 60% of this marks 3 is 1.8 marks. So 63 students secure greater than 3 are equal to 3 marks. So obviously this is 3. But see here, in CO4, only 50 students secure greater than or equal to 4.2. 4.2 is 60% marks of CO4. So 7 marks, total marks of CO4 is 7, and in 4.2, so only 50% students secure greater than or equal to 60% marks. So attainment level is 2. Here 43. So 43 means divide 43 by 64. So here only 60% student got more than the target. So in this case, we will give 1. Did you get it? What I am saying? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
this is for the sessional test 1. Similarly, you have to calculate for sessional test 2, assignment and assignment question paper, all are mapped with CO1, CO2, CO3. So in this sheet, suppose we have 2 sessional and 2 assignment. One is internal, one is external. So here CO1 attainment level 2, then 3, 2 in sessional 1, 2. Suppose we cover CO1, CO2 in sessional 1, and rest of the CO we cover in sessional 2. And this is the attainment level of these course outcomes in sessional 2. And in assignment, we cover all the sessional. Then in assignment 2, and then assignment 2, again, we take the average of this internal. This is the total 2.38. And in external, suppose our 80% student secure greater than 60% marks, then 333. So here 3. So 70% weightage we will give to this attainment level, 30% weightage we will give to this. And in this way, we get this, and final attainment is this. And suppose in indirect assessment, we get 2.46. And in this rubrics, for indirect 20%, and for direct 80%, and in this way overall course outcome is 2.74. And in this course outcome, direct attainment and indirect attainment both are included. Did you get it? This is the tedious
Yes,
work
sir.
to compute the CO attainment. Not easy task. But if you set the formula in your Excel sheet, you can easily calculate. With the help of the software, you can compute the CO attainment. Why? If you have to compute the PO attainment, first you have to attain the CO attainment, and with the help of the CO-PO mapping or CO-PSO mapping, we attain the PO and PSO. Did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Now, see this. This is suppose CO-PO mapping, and similarly, faculty member randomly generate the value. So no matter here, average weighted CO-PO strength is 2.16. So overall CO attainment is, average CO attainment is 2.5. So here we will write 2.1 into 2.5 divided by 3. तो इससे PO attainment आ गया. Here 2.1 into 2.5 divided by 3. तो ये आ गया आपका PO attainment. In this way we can calculate the PO attainment. This is only for one course, and if you have to calculate the PO attainment with the help of all the courses, so we have to check all the courses and then take the average of all the CO of all the courses and then map with the PO. So throughout the semester, if you want to compute the attainment of the POs, that is very much difficult. So without software, if you are attaining that PO, very difficult. You have to use Excel sheet or any other software
Excuse me, sir.
through which you can attain, you can compute the PO attainment and PSO attainment. Okay. Ask question. I am listening.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Sir, we have calculated PO attainment values here by
Okay.
taking the contribution of CO attainment. Is it
Okay.
necessary to compare these attained values with the benchmark that is set for PO?
Actually, ma'am, first we set the target. Ki our target of CO attainment is this. Okay. Our target of PO attainment is this.
Yes,
Suppose you attain that level, then you have to increase the target. And if you are deviate from that target, then you have to take some action to close that quality loop. Did you get it? Why
correct,
we
sir.
are doing,
This we are
why?
this
Yeah.
we are doing in criterion 7, sir.
So that criteria 7 is related to this criteria 3, na? All are dependent.
Actually, PO attainment values we get from criterion 3, and the
in
attained
criteria
values
7,
will go to criteria 7.1.
Nahi,
There we'll be
no,
comparing the
please,
set values of POs.
please listen to me. Criteria 7 for continuous improvement.
Correct.
We will check in
Correct,
criteria
sir. Correct, sir.
7
Both are
whether
interdependent.
our
But in criterion 3, what we
yeah.
are doing is,
Okay, please let me know. What are you are saying?
sir, the thing is in Sir, in criterion 3, what we are doing is we are measuring the attained values of course outcome with respect to the benchmark set. And
target,
similarly, we are calculating the attained values for program outcomes also by
same
taking
thing,
the contribution.
Same thing I am saying that you have to set the target or benchmark, whatever you say, threshold. Okay. And then you will check whether our student attain that level or not.
For PO also. For PO also we are going to set.
PO, suppose
correct, sir.
One pass out student, one batch attend this. So we will improve that things in for the second batch. Why? Because PO,
correct, sir, correct.
Completing all the course outcome, you have to attain the PO attainment. PO is
correct, sir, but that set level for PO, what
set level of
whatever
PO.
target we are setting for PO,
right.
How we have to take it, sir? Many methods are there to take the set level for POs.
Yeah.
Somewhere I have read it has to be taken from the articulation matrix average.
Suppose from the past 3 years record, you are setting the target 2.1, but your students are attaining 1.8, means we are not achieved this target. Then we will take the
Hello, sir.
action
Can
for
you hear
attaining
me?
this PO1.
Hello.
Yeah, I am hearing. Hello, please speak. There is a set mechanism from the basis of the past data. We will set the target for the new batch. If target is achieved, then we will set another target. We will design the rubrics little bit more difficult. Okay, so that if student want to achieve or attain that CO, that some bit little bit difficult. If a student are not attaining that things, then we will improve in teaching learning process. In every step, you have to close the quality loop.
Sir, actually, my question is this COPO.
Yeah. Your voice is coming in bits and
Correct,
pieces.
sir. But from your COPO mapping,
Your voice is not coming, ma'am. I am not
Anita,
getting. I am not
Anita
getting
ma'am,
what.
your voice is breaking.
I am not getting what you are saying.
Kindly write your question in the chat box, ma'am. Sir, you can continue.
Sir, one question I want to ask.
Hello.
Yes,
Please
sir.
ask.
Can you hear me? Sir,
Yeah.
the Excel sheet you showing the CO and PO where both were there. So aren't we supposed to take a weighted average of that?
Actually, that is actual strength. Na 2.6 is actual strength. If we will use 3, then real picture we can't get through that.
No, sir. Weighted average as in what we got this CO as, we'll multiply it with the, the PO and all. No?
Let me share the screen.
hello, sir.
Okay.
Sir, hello.
This is the
Hello, sir.
COPO. Now ask question. What you are saying?
Sir, my question is very simple.
Hmm.
Program outcome means it is the attribute that has to be possessed by a student when he passes out or completes the graduation period.
Right.
So there should be, I think there should be only one level for all the POs that we set as a target, because if we take the average of this COPO mapping as a benchmark or threshold for PO, subject to subject values for the as a target, what we take, subject to subject or course to course, they keep on changing, sir. They can
Right.
change.
You are
course
right.
outcomes.
You are correctly said. Same thing I am also saying. But suppose if you want to see, how our course outcome is mapped with PO, then you can calculate. Ultimately, we have to take average of all the CO attainment, all the CO of all the courses. Suppose there are 40 courses in BTech electronics, then we will consider the course outcome attainment of all the subjects, and then that will mapped with PO, 12 POs. See this diagram.
Sir, this mapping we do with respect to the correlation of learning outcome and program outcome, no, sir?
Actually,
but target for PO is completely different. How it will be correlated with mapping of PO, sir?
Actually, see this diagram. Basic thing is CO. Basic things is CO1. CO1, CO2, CO3 of 6. So average CO of course 1. Suppose there are 40 courses, then with the help of all the 40 courses, we will calculate the PO attainment. But if any faculty member want to know that how much our course is mapped with PO1, then same formula they can apply with the help of their COPO mapping matrix.
Okay. It is course wise individually
If
that
you
we can compare.
if you want to see that things, but if as a whole you want to see, then you have to consider the course attainment, course outcome attainment of all the courses. Faculty member, if want to know ki how much our course is contributing in in attaining the PO, then through this formula, through this through his or her COPO matrices, they can attain that PO. But
Yes, sir.
HOD, if you want to know, then HOD will consider the CO of all the courses, and then there should be some action for improving the next batch. Why? Because there is a 4 academic session data, na very large amount of the data.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
if your target is attained or matched, then there is need to raise your target. And if not mapped, then you have to take corrective action for closing the quality loop. Did you get it? What I'm saying that?
Correct, sir. I got it completely.
If any faculty member doesn't want to know how much our CO attainment is contributing in attaining the PO, then there is no need to calculate that things. Faculty member is only related to our course attainment, whether course outcome are attained by the students or not. That's why in this semester, after the end of the semester, it's enough. But after completing the BTech degree, we will see that whether our students attain all the PO, all the 12 POs or all the PSOs or not, then you have to consider the course outcome of all the subjects. Is PPT visible to you all or not? Please let me know.
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Actually, I am not considering all the courses because for one course, computation is very tedious. And if you consider the 40 course, then you can imagine that how difficult that computation. But in this diagram, I have mentioned, see here, in this diagram, for PO and PSO attainment, again there are direct PO attainment and indirect PO attainment. In direct PO attainment, we will consider the course outcome of all the courses, and in direct tools, we will consider the extracurricular, co-curricular and placement data. Again, we will give 20% to indirect and 80% to direct tool. And there are various rubrics for calculating these direct and indirect PO attainment. Now see here, in this course, we take the average of all the courses and finally we get the PO attainment, all the 12 PO attainment. So as a computer science faculty member, if you calculate PO attainment from one courses, then you can easily calculate the PO attainment with the help of 40 courses. If logic of one course attainment, how mapped with PO attainment is not clear, then you can imagine you will not compute the PO attainment with the help of 40 courses. Okay. If you are able to insert one row in the table, then you can insert million of the rows in your table. So I explained the logic with the help of one course, how we attain the COs, and with the help of CO-PO matrix, how we will attain the PO. And then with the help of CO-PSO matrix, how we will attain the PSO. If attainment is deviate from the target level, then you have to take corrective action. And if attained, then you have to raise the target or threshold or benchmark, whatever name you can give to that. It's okay?
Sir, it is okay, but only slight confusion is there.
Okay.
Mapping, how we are doing, sir, as a teacher, I say that whatever I'm teaching in my course, this content is mapped to these particular POs. That mapping is, it is a correlation between course outcomes and program outcomes. So I feel it is in kg, and if we are taking that average of COPO mapping as a target for PO attainment, then it is in liters. So how we can see
Actually, ma'am, forget the target. At least you can find out a number of PO attainment. Na?
yes, sir. That we
With
can
the help of your CO attainment, you can find a number of PO attainment. Na?
That we can do, sir. Yes, we
But
can
that is not the actual attainment. I am saying that ki PO attainment, to compute the PO attainment, we have to consider all the courses. Then only we can find out the clear picture of PO attainment.
correct, sir. That I agree. Correct, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
I said that there should not be any doubt in this case.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't compute PO, but at least you should find out the logic ki, with the help of CO-PO mapping, we can compute the PO attainment. This is the logic.
Yes, sir.
And if
Yes,
we
sir. Yes.
consider all the courses, 40 courses, 50 courses, then real picture of the PO attainment you can get. And this is the responsibility of a committee, and that committee will assess where target achieved or not. If target not achieved, then take corrective actions
Yes, sir.
for
Thank you, sir.
attaining that target.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you all understood the philosophy of COPO computation, COPO attainment, and framework of outcome-based education. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask the question. Or you can write mail to me, I will reply.
Participants, you can write your queries in the chat box also, or in the WhatsApp group also. We will surely define your queries and resolve your queries, or you can mail also us. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. And participant, there is one feedback link for today's session. Link will be provided in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group. Kindly fill that form. I also request you all to kindly join at the same time with the same link tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the next session that is based on criteria 4, that is students' performance. Thank you all once again for joining us, and thank you, sir, for giving us your precious time. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Yadav. Professor Yadav, thank you very much. You nicely explain each and every point of the criteria 3.
Actually, in 1.5 hour, we can only tell this thing.
If I maybe point out about the criteria 3, it is very important criteria.
Yeah.
And the things must be clear to the participants. Again, because as the Pooja Misra announced, again I'm announcing the participants. If you have some queries or some questions, definitely at the end of the FDP, we will be sending your answers, whatever you are posting on the chat box. Okay, so that is from our side, and it was nice lecture, and definitely I
Thank
think
you.
participants enjoyed.
You all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
मैं सबका लिखता हूँ, तो एक काम कर, तू लिख सबका लिख, तेरे को दे दूंगा, खड़े रहना को।
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I should tell you.